Okay, hi guys, welcome back to the Audio Levels channel and welcome back to another review. This one is going to be difficult for me. This is the Simphonio RX10 set of in-ear monitors. Before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please go ahead and subscribe. Any subscriber has the right to leave a comment and ask for direct comparisons. I say this every video, but you can ask me to compare this Solaris with the Dunu Zen, for example. You can ask for the Tin Hi-Fi P1 versus the Aria. You can ask for DAPs versus DACs and stuff. And that's the main purpose of this channel, is to give you lots of options in direct comparison. So if you're subscribed to the channel, you can just ask anything that I've listened to, and there's a lot of earphones. If I do this, there's a lot of earphones that I have at my disposal that I can talk to you about, and I can do direct comparisons. So subscribe to the channel if that's something that is useful to you, and just subscribe if you like the videos. Anyway, this is the Simphonio RX10. This stands out in terms of its design and its price. It's just a single 10mm dynamic driver. There's no electrostatics in here. There's no multi-driver setup. There's no, there's no multi-balanced armatures. There's no planar in this. This is just a single 10mm dynamic driver. But the sound that this produces is absolutely mind-blowing and encapsulating. I can't get my head around this because it's a single 10mm dynamic driver and it costs $640 US. Now the number of drivers and stuff, that doesn't really count for anything. Drivers, configurations. If something's tuned well and it's a good quality driver, it doesn't really matter if it's a hybrid or if it's a hybrid, tribrid, if it's electrostatic, dynamic, whatever. As long as they've done a good job with it, and they have done an exceptional job with this, I cannot stop listening to this. I was just listening to Gregory Porter, one of the songs that I was listening to, this Liquid Spirit, the Claptone remix. My God, before that I was listening to IO Down on My Knees. Before that I was listening to, let's see what I've got here, it was in the guitar playlist, Meanest Blues in Town by Bjorn Berg. This is unreal to listen to, but it's not perfect by any means, and we'll get into that in the usual sort of format we do, where we talk about the accessories, the build quality and that sort of stuff. So let's get that out of the way. The box that you get the RX10 in is fairly simple. It's just this sort of plain standard box. You'll see the earphones sitting in there. It's got the RX10 sleeve on the outside just showing you. So it comes in this white colour, which I think is really good looking. This is the colour I would prefer. But the materials essentially are the same. I think Linso has the wrong image up just now. I think they've got an image of these earphones up for some reason. I feel like they've got this picture up, the Harmonic Dime PD1. It's not. This is the black version of it. This is the white version of it. Box is underwhelming, to say the least. Composite diaphragm made of graphene PET and PU. High sensitivity, easy to drive by any source. Turbine-shaped stainless steel chamber. 3D printed universal shell, PVD coating, created pearl shine surface, whatever that means. It's fairly standard packaging. It's got the little box lid in there. It's something you would find on an earphone under $100 up to sort of $500, depending on what company you're buying from. In terms of accessories are pathetic. $650 earphone, pathetic accessories. You get a bunch of ear tips, which to be fair are not bad. They come in this little box, and then you get the serial number and warranty card in there. And all you get else is this crappy carry case, which is like a fake leather. It's not hard shell. If you've got too much stuff inside it, you can't get it closed. It's a pathetic effort, really pathetic effort, and that runs true right through these earphones, other than the sound. This case is terrible. You can barely fit the earphones in, let alone with a good cable on it. And that's the next thing we're going to talk about, the cable. This is the cable. In my mind, this is one step up from a KZ cable just now. Let me see if I've got a KZ earphone. I do have KZ earphones, but I don't seem to have their cable around. It's up there with other bad cables that I've got, like the Mezi cable and KZ. It's pathetically cheap. It's not branded in any way for themselves. Maybe, oh yeah, so it says Simphonio just there, but it's very generic. It's got a little strain relief there. It's an octo braid going into a metal splitter with a little strain relief and a dual twist, I believe, after the splitter. Going into quite long ear hook guides, which I don't mind, into a metal 2-pin connector. Let's take the cable off and let's just talk about it. It's just a cheap cable. It's a cheap cable that you'll find for between $10 and $20. And Simphonio have really cheaped out on these. Let's put it down, do the test, not too bad. It holds some memory retention. You can see a lot of kinks in it here. It does tend to tangle up a lot, and it just doesn't feel like a premium cable. Like, for example, this is something that comes with a similarly priced BESaudio Excalibur. It's a beautiful cable, very well behaved, great hardware, just really, really nice. What other cables have we got for earphones at similar prices? We have, just sitting around, we have FiO has their cable for the FiO FH7, and it has the detachable little nozzle thing that you can interchange the adapters. This is a bad cable. I don't need to talk on about it. So the case is terrible, the packaging's pretty bad, the ear tips are terrible. Well, not terrible, but there's just not enough selection. There's no Comply, there's no Final Audio E-Series and so on. The earphones themselves, they're definitely unique looking. They feel, let me see something else that's cheap and can compare to this. They definitely feel above something like a KZ and stuff like that, and they feel, you know, a little bit better than a low-end BESaudio. It just is a weird shape. That's my biggest gripe with this, is that the shape of it is absolutely humongous. Let's pull out another big earphone that we've got here. I believe we've got the KZ AST. KZ AST are monsters, but the KZ AST contain most of their bulk in the depth of it. You can see there. This has got a lot of outside surface area, so if you've got medium to big ears, you're going to be okay. Small ears, don't even think about this. It's just not going to work out for you. The other weird thing about this shell, when you're trying to get the 2-pin adapters in, it's an absolute nightmare. It's angled just ever so slightly, and means that you're actually pushing in towards the outside, and it just is very unintuitive. This little thing sticking out, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to assume this is something to do with the stainless steel turbine that they've got going on in the inside. They talk about the tuning with the stainless steel turbine. Overall, it's an odd shape. It's also very shallow fitting. It's kind of hard to get a deep seal, but I did actually find that I got a good seal myself. I've got medium-sized ears, and I found that it was okay. It wasn't the worst fitting earphone. It's just kind of a little bit fiddly to get it in there. A kind of cool thing about it though is that, see if you see the nozzles are actually flared out, and that sort of takes over the need of having to have a little, the little pronounced lip to stop the earphones coming out when you take them out of your ears. Apart from that, the build quality is fine. Is the build quality on a par with, let's see some other earphones, build quality and design at the same price. That's this FiO FH7, the Audio Monarch, obviously. Okay, that'll do just now. The Audio Monarch, stunning faceplate, absolutely gorgeous, really nice build quality resin shell. I believe, but I might be wrong, this is the FH5 or FH7, maybe yeah. It's one of the FHs, there's the other one there, just for reference. Really nice metal build quality. And what's the other one I've got here? And then of course you've got the Kinera Skuld, which are one of the most gorgeous earphones that you'll ever see in your life. Stunning. These just feel a step below all of these. Now, that said, $650 is a lot of money. The sound is exceptional. The sound is, I cannot stop listening to these, and it's not in a way where I can quantify it as something I've heard before. They say all this crazy stuff about the diaphragm being triple coated. It's got PU. Let me just see what the actual. They say it's a composite coating on the actual driver. They say composite membrane material driver, PVD created pearl shine surface. Let's see, 3 layers of coating applied to the diaphragm. In specific, the composite diaphragm contains 3 kinds of material: graphene, PET, and PU. Now, if you take a standard diaphragm and you start to coat it with stuff, you get beryllium coated drivers, you get like graphene coated drivers, nano tube particle drivers and stuff. It can make a very dramatic difference to the sound, and what I'm hearing here is a dynamic driver that is incredibly strong and incredibly responsive. They tout the use of an N52 grade neodymium magnet, which is nothing special. Tons of earphones use N52 magnets. That's nothing here. I think the magic in this is happening from this coating that they're putting on the driver. And in terms of sound, it is just so intimate and so overwhelming. The texture of the vocals, I'm going to go through some of the sounds. Meanest Blues in Town by Bjorn Berg. The little fine, minute parts on him strumming and finger pick work. His finger pick work and the slides down the fretboard are so in your face that it becomes part of the music. It's not just the actual physical plucks of the strings on the guitar. His fretwork and his finger positioning on the guitar and the fretboard is just, it becomes part of the music. It sucks you in, makes you listen to it more. I was listening to IO Down on My Knees, and let's see if we go back. Is it going to be there? No, it's not there. The IO Down on My Knees, absolutely spectacular. The clarity of her voice, the sort of granularity that she has, the power in her voice, it was all there. I would say it benefits male vocals more than it does female vocals, but that's not to say female vocals are in any way bad. The detail retrieval is exceptional, and it's presented in a very open and airy, spacey manner. The bass is so damn impactful. Two-step quick musical doodles. Listen to that one. Really controlled sub bass. It hits with a big impact, but it's got decent speed, and its resolution is fantastic in the mid bass. The mids are so clear anyway that there's no spillover of the bass into the mids and over complicating things. It's very much one of those earphones where if the music calls for it, it will give you thunderous sub bass, but if the music is more laid back and refined, it's not going to dominate the spectrum, for example. The highs are elevated slightly. There was a little bit of harshness in one of the jazz tracks I was listening to, but that was in something that has really strong presence of the hi-hats. Apart from that, it gives a very open and airy space. Now, it doesn't have a wide soundstage so much. It's very much all this is happening in your head, forcing detail like directly in your face, as opposed to creating this wide concerto soundstage. But the imaging and distance and separation between each instrument sounds very clear. A lot of people get that mistaken, that separation between the instruments are related to soundstage. It's not that case. Separation between the instruments means that everything should be presented clearly and separate so that you can isolate and really focus in on one section of the music. or one person playing a certain instrument, and you can definitely do that with these. The sound stage though is more about the sort of environment you feel you're sitting in. This feels like it's very intimate and very, maybe you're a couple of rows back in a jazz club, for example, or something like that. I don't like doing all these foo-foo descriptions that some reviewers do, but that's kind of the easiest way to explain it. It feels like you're in front of the thing rather than a large concert. As I say, that Gregory Porter song, fantastic. Gregory Porter Concords, the depth of gravel in his voice, where you could actually hear the gravel and the formation of notes and stuff like that, is wonderful. Drums sound incredible with it, guitars sound incredible, string instruments sound fantastic, even piano, which is a harder one to quantify because you've got the dampening of the strings. You can hear the pedal pushes on a Naudi, High Heels, for example. Go and listen to that, the concert live at the Royal Albert Hall, and you can hear him actually depressing the pedals, and you can hear the dampener on the piano strings. Just you can hear the shift. You can hear when you press the pedal and the dampeners move over. You can hear all of that, and it's presented in a way that it's not so in your face that it becomes fatiguing. Like a lot of super detailed earphones are very much fatiguing because you spend so much time focusing on the music and listening to certain things. This is something that I can sit back, shut my eyes, and just really enjoy the music. I really enjoy these. The question is, with everything else that's included in the package, is it worth it? Sound-wise, it's up there with the Monarchs. The Monarchs are $100 more, $750. There's another one that I want to hear. The Dithonry have an earphone that I'm interested in hearing at this price point, that I think it follows a similar sort of technology idea of just one single dynamic driver. And for those people that think that dynamic driver isn't capable, the headphones produce a fantastic sound with just a dynamic driver. Some of the best earphones I've heard are solely dynamic driver. They give a very unique presentation. Yamaha EPH 100 is still a fantastic value earphone today. The elephant in the room is the Monarch. Overall, as a package, I don't think it's there. The sound is so different though that it's hard to put them head to head against each other. This has an unrealistic sort of presentation. It has a very it's hard to describe. It really is hard to describe. It's a sensation of being in a blacked out space and having this sound play. Pairing wise, it was pairing well with everything. The Dithonry, the DX300 here. The DX300 was probably the best pairing because this adds a touch of lushness to it, and I think they're already quite lush. I don't know what to say. I don't know whether or not to recommend these or not because I really don't like the accessories. I really don't like the cable, and I'm very indifferent on the actual design. But the sound is so good. If you were, for example, let's see what I've got over here cable wise. Okay, this is a Hulk. Let's take this cable actually. The other thing about this cable is it's not in balanced form at all. It's in a standard 3.5 on a $650 earphone. What are the people at Simphonio thinking? Let's take this for example. This is $120. This is the Linsol Nymph cable, and it's a fantastic cable. Let's even do one better. Let's try and bring it under the price of the Monarch. You could buy this, and you could buy the Euphrosyne cable from Linsol. I think this is $80. I'll leave the links to all of this stuff in the description so you can go check it out. But this is the Euphrosyne cable. It comes in balance 3.5, 4.4, MMCX and 2-pin connector. So if I bought this in a 2-pin connector with balanced 2.5mm adapter, with this at $650, I would be looking at $740. So around the money of the Theaudio Monarch. And I'm not saying that they're better than the Monarch. The Monarch are technically better, but these are so engaging. I'm gonna say don't buy it. I'm gonna say this is something that everybody should probably listen to, but it's hard. It's hard. I wish they had a better overall package. So I think that's where I'm gonna leave it at. Really interesting. I'm blown away by this, and you can probably hear my voice. I'm having a really hard time justifying saying no to this. I'm gonna like because I've got it here. It's gonna be one of my most listened to earphones this week. That's for sure. I could pick up this and enjoy it just as much as the Solaris. Um, I know technically like it's not gonna have the EST presentation and the balanced armature speed in certain areas, but the way it presents music is really good. The overall package is not good. And the value for money is going to be a stretch for a lot of people. I know that is getting your head over it, but in terms of sound, it's so good. But I am not one of these reviewers who says that sound is everything. I want my earphones to look good. I want them to sound good. I want them to be well made. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to have great accessories. I want them to have a beautiful cable. If I'm spending $650, I want something, like the Theaudio cables or something. This is a great sounding earphone. They've shown that they can perform. I guess we're going to have to see whether or not the market takes it up. If you get a chance to listen to these or borrow these, or if you want to take a chance on them, you're not going to be disappointed in the sound, that's for sure. But it's a hard one to recommend. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I hope you appreciate my honesty in this one. I really like this. I'm just having a hard time telling you, like when these beautiful earphones are all sitting here in front of them. Okay, thanks very much for watching this one. Sorry I couldn't have been more concise and more definitive in the answer, but I think you get where I'm coming from. Cheers. Have a good one.